Montgomery County Executive Marc Elrich is proposing a 6% property tax increase to fund schools. This would cost the median homeowner about $423 more per year, and it comes after years of promises to avoid tax increases and a history of proposed tax increases. Mike Elrich campaigned years and years ago, seems like forever ago, on a promise to restructure government and avoid tax increases, but he's repeatedly proposed them. Is this a failure of leadership, or is this just, the way he rolls?
Yes and yes.
Was We're giving you two-word
Um,
answers today,
Not
Casey.
good, not good for TV, guys. We,
so
we need you to
sorry.
opine.
No, yes, I think it's a, you know, the county executive talked about restructuring government, and in fact has done nothing but add more jobs during a time, add more jobs and increase the compensation for those folks in those jobs by significant amounts, so that we're at a 9 or 10% annual compensation increase at a time when our county's revenue are increasing at about 2.5%. So we've set up a completely unsustainable situation, and rather than actually address the underlying situation, the county executive's objective is to propose his sixth tax increase in the 8 years he's been here. And so I think that shows to both, one, our inability as county government to address the underlying issue of what structure do we need to deliver the services that we want to provide to our residents, and two, the inability to actually not want to raise taxes on our residents.
So, Mark, of course, the default reason for any tax increase, it's all about the children, and the county executive argues this is about investing in education, with MCPS requesting billions in funding, while the school population declines. Is this a necessary investment, or does the county have spending problems it just refuses to address?
Well, we have a broader issue, I think, in the state, which is that the mandates of the blueprint are not producing the results that were anticipated. And so this is a little like the energy is another issue where we have some policies on autopilot that really need a careful rethink. We're not seeing results from Blueprint, and that's been what's been driving up education costs, certainly in our county and elsewhere. But I would observe that we've kind of seen this movie before with Marc Elrich, where he asks for large tax increases, and then the council cuts it back, and they tell us what a great job they did at being economical and non-taxing, when in fact you just got a tax increase. So we'll see if that plays out yet again.
Well, that segues perfectly to what I wanted to ask Mike, which is, we've got several members of the county council running for county executive. Are they going to support a tax increase of any kind? And frankly, will the county council do just what Mark said, which is, cut it back and say and declare victory?
Well, if past is prologue, then yes, I'll do exactly that, because that's typically how the county council operates. Is we will reduce the increase by some amount and claim victory. And most people won't have paid attention and realize what just happened. I think to your first part of the question, Andrew Friedson has come out, I think, very vociferously opposed. Will Jawando actually came out before the county executive even proposed a rate increase, and said he was already for it. And I think Evan has tried to straddle the line in between to say, I don't think we should do it, but we'll need to look
Oh,
at it.
what the heck?
So I think they've all, I've tried to stake out some place that's different from the other.
So, Mark, obviously, you're in the wrong party to answer this question, but
Right.
I mean, is there going to be any blowback in the primaries on this?
Well, I don't know about the primaries, but I will say, so I'm not the one to ask on that. On the other hand, I would look at the reaction that we're seeing around the state, but also in Montgomery County, to the electricity bills. And there is a tipping point in which these cost of living issues become politically significant.
Well, I mean, that's always the case. You get to a point of crisis. So, Mike, do you think this is any blowback is going to have legs? I mean, you talk about people responding to a crisis. They get to a point where they're fed up, and as you said, if they don't know what's really there until later, will that have an impact?
I think it will. I mean, I think to Mark's point, I think affordability continues to be an increasing issue, and that's a real challenge that we have. And so I think there will be blowback this year. I think this is going to be real and is going to have an impact in the primaries.
All right, so the exit question is, since Marc Elrich is running for county council at large, will this hurt him? Marc, you first.
Probably not, because we're talking about 20% that comes out and votes, and he obviously needs a certain percentage of that. So our primary elections on both parties, frankly, are focused on really hardcore voters on one side or the other.
Mike, you get to wrap it up.
Yeah, no, I don't think it'll have an impact on him. He's got his core set of voters. He's one of 4 folks in an at-large race, and so I think he comes through, unfortunately, and will continue to do what he does.